recounted them last night. There's 108 total platforms out there that are FedRAMP Moderate certified. On the SaaS side, so you've got things like Office 365 Commercial, G Suite, Salesforce, Oracle, Huddle, Cisco, ServiceNow. There's a ton of them, 108 of them. On the IaaS side, there's a few less, but you still have your commercial Amazon, IBM Cloud, GDIT's Cloud, SAIC's Cloud, the QTS data centers, CGI Federal's Cloud. They're all certified to FedRAMP Moderate. Okay? I'm not going into the FedRAMP Low or FedRAMP SaaS LI, LI SaaS, because it's not really, it doesn't really impact because we're talking about DFARS and NIST controls here primarily. Any questions on the FedRAMP program? If you have questions or you're just interested in reading about it, go to fedramp.gov. They have a pretty good website where you can go in, you can actually see the certifications for each one of these platforms, what they've done, what agency actually provided their authority to operate, their ATO documentation. You can actually click on it, and if you have a government login, you can actually download the ATO documentation directly from their FedRAMP website. So it's a really good website for you to be able to do that. Say again? I don't think it's CAC enabled. All right, so now we're going to talk about the three platforms, the three primary vendors out there. First, we're going to look at Amazon, then we're going to look at Google, and then we're going to look at, I've got 13 minutes, and I have way more than 13 minutes of slides. All right, so we're going to go through this a little bit faster than I'd like. So Amazon Cloud Infrastructure, they have 18 regions worldwide. They're all over the place. They got 55 total availability zones, one GovCloud region. There's one GovCloud region with 2 data centers. Actually, their second that's under construction is actually now built. I didn't update that. So they have 2 actual data centers right now that are GovCloud and Amazon. And they have 1 secret region right now. Okay? So they've kind of got all the bases covered. Amazon's done a really good job on the IaaS and PaaS side of building platforms that can be used for DFARS compliance and such. So on the SaaS side, that's kind of where Amazon really kind of falls apart, if you will, from a DFARS and from a CUI standpoint. These are their applications that they have available from a SaaS standpoint. And how many of you use these applications on a normal basis in work? Not a single hand, right? They have basically no market share, okay? Amazon's SaaS platform is essentially unused, okay? It's just not a factor at all. And on top of that, none of these capabilities are available in their GovCloud at all. So they're only on the commercial cloud, okay? Which basically makes Amazon from a SaaS play a no-go, okay? You're gonna have to find other services that do meet the requirements for your SaaS needs, okay? All right, from an IaaS PaaS standpoint, the story is very, very different. They have a great set of infrastructure services, platform-based services, global infrastructure, networking. They've got everything that you need there to be able to build solid infrastructures to meet DFARS and NIST 80171 requirements. You can do it in Amazon if that's the direction that you want to go. Okay, you'll be in good shape if you go to Amazon GovCloud. You'll be in good shape. All right, so here's a quick a little diagram that kind of breaks it down for you. Talks about all the different areas. So you can see here what customers can access it, and I've got this same chart for all three vendors. What customer can access it? All government and contractors, government only. FedRAMP, what kind of FedRAMP it is. What DISA SRG level data can it hold? Is that platform ITAR capable to hold export control content? Is it NIST 80171 capable? Basically, can it be configured to be NIST 80171 with the right policies and the right configuration? Simply by moving your data into that platform does not make it NIST 80171. Okay, I can't stress that enough because I have that conversation all the time too. If I just put my data in that platform, it's not compliant. Okay, you still have to configure all the services to be compliant. All right. Does it meet DFARS C through G paragraphs? And can you put classified content in that platform? Okay, so you're going to see this same structure for all 3 platforms here in a minute. Anybody have any questions about this? Yeah. So the question was, do you have to have direct network connectivity, or do you do this through the internet, over web browsers, or what have you? So when you set it up, you typically are setting it up over web browsers. You can set up VPNs so that you can then have direct connectivity if you would like to have direct connectivity. Also, both in Amazon and Microsoft, they have the ability to, in Microsoft it's called ExpressRoute. I can't remember what the name of it is in Amazon. Maybe somebody in here can help me. Where you can actually buy essentially a leased line that connects you directly to their data center. You can purchase that if you'd like to have that. So there's lots of different ways to access these services and configure these services. Okay? All right, any other questions about Amazon from a compliance standpoint, from a capability standpoint, you know, when we're talking about DFARS and NIST and all that good stuff?
What's the difference between the second and third column?
So yeah, so there's two different sides of GovCloud. They have one side of GovCloud that is DISA SRG L4, which where contractors can put data and contractors can live. The SRG Level 5 environment, that is for agencies only, okay? So they have an area where only agencies can put data, and that's DISA SRG L5 data. That's the difference there. Okay? Okay, so now let's talk about Google. All right, Google is not quite as large as Amazon. All right, they've got 17 regions across 52 zones across 17 regions. So they are spread out all over the world as well, though. You can see pretty much Africa is the only continent where they don't have a data center today. But they don't have any kind of dedicated government region or data center. Okay, they have no dedicated government services. Everything they do is basically commercial. All right, they do have a FedRAMP authorization, a FedRAMP Moderate authorization for their commercial cloud platform. So that's good, but they don't have any kind of dedicated government services. All right, that can be a challenge, but you know it is what it is. They don't see the government as a growth area for them. They're not going to focus on the government as a customer set. In fact, I've got a quote here later in the deck that I'll show you in a few minutes, but essentially, because of DoD's mission, they believe that DoD's mission runs antithetical to their mission as a company. And so they're not going to support DoD, essentially, is what it comes down to. All right, so Google Cloud Platform, IaaS and PaaS services, they have a large group and capability of services within their platform. It is a solid cloud platform, but it does not have the adoption level that you would see out of an Amazon or an Azure. Like we said, it's got down to about 7%. What you find a lot of people that are very heavy into, you see a lot of analytics type stuff going on in Google, and there's a lot of West Coast, California-based companies that are heavy in Google. Whereas on the East Coast, you see a lot more Amazon and Azure. It's really interesting how how it's really regionalized on what cloud provider different parts of the country tend to gravitate to. Okay. So this is their SaaS platform, G Suite. Any of your companies on G Suite today? One. Okay. Well, after we get through this, you'll probably decide to you don't want to be on G Suite anymore by the time we're done with the slides, okay? But G Suite, while it's a great set of tools, it does have some challenges from a compliance standpoint, okay? As you can see here. So while all customers can access everything here from a Google Cloud Platform and a G Suite, it is FedRAMP Moderate. It can handle DISA SRG Level 2 data. You cannot put ITAR content there. No export control content whatsoever can go in that environment. This comes directly from the Google Facts FAQs about their platform. Google does not support the use of our services with ITAR controlled data. They pretty much come out and say it. Do not put export control content in our environment because we have basically non-US persons across our entire infrastructure, and we cannot support the requirements that are there for export control content. All right. They did just announce data residency. Until July of this last year, you could not even pick the location that your data resided. Okay. Once it got into the Google Cloud, they could put it anywhere in the world, anytime they wanted to. In July, they did just start saying that we're going to allow you to say, okay, I want my data to stay in the United States, or I want my data to stay in Great Britain, or wherever you wanted to choose. Okay. It can be NIST 80171 capable, with some asterisks. There are services that cannot be built to NIST 80171 compliance, so you'd have to have third-party services that sit on top of the platform or elsewhere within your infrastructure to help you meet some of those control requirements. Okay, but it can be a component of a compliant infrastructure from a NIST 80171 standpoint. However, this is the big problem, DFARS C through G. Okay, they will not sign on to support the DFARS C through G requirements from a G Suite standpoint, which means that if you have an incident that you have to then report to the government, and the government comes back and asks you for, say, the forensic image of a system because they want to do additional investigation, and you go to Google and ask for that information, Google's going to tell you, no, we cannot provide that. And then you have to go back to the government and tell the government that, no, I can't provide that information. Okay, that's a problem, right? So that is one of the major issues with G Suite as a provider for a DFARS required company, all right? And obviously, you know, we're not putting classified content there, right? Okay, you had a question.
Yeah, it's around third parties leveraging or integrated into Google. For example, we have a customer that is using, you know, like an encryption layer on top of their Gmail, for example. I think we kind of addressed that through the use of third parties, but they were using that to try to leverage that to enforce compliance.
Right, so if you're talking about from an export control standpoint, ITAR content, just DFARS only, okay. From an export control content, the Department of State has not provided a encryption carve-out, okay? It's been a hot topic, but there is no encryption carve-out from the Department of State that says that if my content's encrypted, you know, it can be anywhere, right? From a DFARS standpoint, you could use that as a component, but there may be other things that you have to do as well, okay? All right, so now let's jump into Microsoft real quick. And I'm really running out of time. I got 3 minutes. But hopefully you'll stick with me for another couple, all right? 52 regions, 52 zones. They're basically on every continent. They're everywhere. They've got 8 dedicated U.S. government regions. Microsoft has gone in very hard and heavy on the GovCloud, all right? They see it as a primary driver of their cloud-based revenue moving forward. So they not only have 6 government data centers, they have 2 dedicated Azure secret regions, okay? So they've gone really hard into that. And they have the FedRAMP certifications, both high for Azure Commercial, high for Azure Gov. They've got high for Office 365 GCC High, and they've got moderate for Office 365 GCC, and they've got moderate equivalency for Office 365 Commercial. Okay, so they have basically done it across the board. They've done FedRAMP certifications. All right? So this is where they reside in the United States. Oh, I thought I had another build there. This is where they reside in the United States. You can see, you know, around the DC area, in Iowa, Texas, Arizona, and then they have some other ExpressRoute points of presence in Silicon Valley, Seattle, New York, and DC. Okay, ExpressRoute is the service that you can purchase that will give you basically lease line direct access into the data centers. If you need that level of access, you can buy. I think you can buy up to a terabyte direct access. Terabyte per second access, direct access on lease lines if you want to. It starts at 50 megabit. So if you want to buy a 50 megabit, that's the lowest you can buy ExpressRoute directly into these data centers, okay, if you have need to. We actually don't have a lot of customers that do that. They find that using the internet and their standard internet connectivity with VPNs is fast enough and provides the response times that they're happy with, okay? So here is a listing of some of the services that are available in Azure Government. Azure Government is about a 95% solution against Azure Commercial. It's not 100% feature parity. They're trying to get there, but the challenge is things in their government world, in their government platform are not considered for implementation in the Gov platform until they've gone general availability in their commercial platform. Okay, so there's a natural lag there. All right, and so on your IaaS and PaaS platforms for Microsoft, you can see here FedRAMP High, DISA SRG Level 2, and then DISA SRG Level 4 and 5. ITAR capability only on the Gov side, not on your commercial side. You can build both to NIST 800-171 standard if you want. Yes, on the full support of Azure Government for DFARS C through G, and then I've got the asterisk there on the C through G support for commercial. The reason I have an asterisk is because it requires more of you, and it also depends more on specific services. There's some services they can and some services they can't. And then also it may require you to have third-party software to do your own VHD imaging kind of situation where you are taking images and snapshots of systems at certain time frames and such. So it's a little bit harder on the commercial side. Okay? On the SaaS side, which you have Office 365. Office 365 today, Office 365 GCC High is about a It's about an 85%, maybe close to 90% feature parity solution against Office 365 Commercial. There are some notable exceptions that are not there yet. And then some things like Teams. Teams has been released, but it's only about a 70% feature parity for that specific application. There are things that are not yet available in the GCC High that many people do want and are looking forward to, okay? Now, when we talk about their SaaS platforms, what's the compliance status of those? You have commercial, which is where a lot of companies sit still today. It is a FedRAMP Moderate equivalent. What that means is the platform was built to the FedRAMP Moderate standard, but Microsoft never paid to have them come in and actually do the FedRAMP audit on the commercial platform. It's built to the same exact standard as the GCC platform. Office 365 Commercial and Office 365 Government Community Cloud are both built on top of the Azure Commercial infrastructure. Okay, so you've got Azure Commercial as your baseline, and then GCC and Office 365 Commercial on top of it. Now, on this other side over here, so that's these two platforms here. And that's why you see FedRAMP Moderate and Moderate equivalent. Over here, this is Azure Government. These two platforms are built on top of Azure Government, all right?